your yoga practice will look different every day. Don't force yourself. It's okay. Just observe, listen to your body. Hello and welcome in this space. Today I've got something to share with you from my heart. A little list of the things I wish I would have known before I started my yoga journey. I actually started practicing about 10 years ago, and my practice looked so much different than it looks right now. I was really focused so much more on how it looks like. I didn't really have a guide, a teacher, and yeah, I was pretty much a little bit lost. So I hope these things I share with you here, especially if you are a beginner, if you are just starting your yoga journey, I hope they can help you to navigate through any doubts you might be having and make you feel a little bit more safe and comfortable in this yoga space. And if you're new here, my name is Maria. I share yoga, breathing and meditation to help you live with less stress and more peace, as well as teachings how to bring the practice of yoga off the mat so you can actually use it in your daily life, so you can live with more freedom, with more love from within. Number one of the most popular misconceptions about yoga is that you have to be flexible to practice. So often I hear it from people when I propose or suggest practice of yoga. They say, no, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. So that means I can't do yoga. Well, this is actually the other way around. If you do yoga, if you keep practicing, if you keep staying committed, you will get flexible. Your body will stretch more, will allow you to go deeper. But if you are not flexible and you don't even want to try, then you will just stay in the same place, right? So this is really important for you to know and to remember that it takes time for the body to build that flexibility. And real yoga is really not about the flexibility or pushing yourself to your limits. It's more about listening, going slow, allowing your body to slowly adjust. And if you stay committed, if you stay with discipline, you will get so many physical results as well. When I was at school, I wasn't able to do splits. I was never a flexible person. But as I started practicing more and more and going deeper in the stretches, now I can do splits. Now I can do so many different stretches that I wasn't able to do before. And this lesson of flexibility goes more to the mind as well. So as we learn yoga, we learn how to be more flexible in the mind, how to use your mind to adjust to different situations, how to become more flexible in different conversations, in different challenges that life is giving us. Number 2, the breath is everything. Breathing is such an important part of the yoga practice. My teacher always used to say that the breath is guiding the body and the body is just following. Sometimes we focus too much on where to go from one position to another, how to align perfectly, but first, always first focus on your breath. And again, this is not only about the yoga practice. This is also in your life. Whenever you are dealing with a difficult situation, whenever you feel super anxious or stressed, start with your breath. Because the mind will already start going so far, like, what do I have to do? Oh my God, I am here. I don't know how to deal with this. First, take a little step back, take a deep breath, and use this breath to help you create a different energy from within. And in the physical yoga practice, the breath is really helping us to soften, to deepen. That's why, especially in my practices, I always remind you, just breathe, come back to your breath. Wherever you are, breathe first. The breath is really so much more important than your posture. So sometimes if you don't feel comfortable in a posture, you can ease up a little bit, start breathing deeper, and as your breath is flowing freely, then you can adjust. Then you can relax even more. But first, always focus on the breath. Remember that we are breathing 24/7, but how much of this time you actually breathe with awareness? So the practice of yoga is inviting us to focus on that breath, to really be aware of how you breathe, how is your breathing pattern, and expanding that space of your breath. Some yogis say that the longer your breath is, the longer your life is. You can try that and experience it by yourself. Number 3, you don't have to be good at yoga. There's also another misconception about yoga. It's like, I am not good in yoga. Like, I am not good in flexibility. I am not good with strength. So it means I am not good in yoga. It's really not about how good you are in a way of how your posture looks like. Because for everyone, posture can look a little bit different depending on your body, depending on where you are with your body today. So it's not about looking perfect. It's more about feeling good. That's why I always remind you in my practices as well, don't look around, don't compare yourself to anyone. Don't focus too much on how you look like. Where, of course, alignment is so important in yoga, so you don't cause any injuries, but really focus on how you feel. Because if your alignment is not good, then you will feel some discomfort or something weird in your body. So first we're focusing, can I just scan my body? And can I focus more on how it feels? Does it feel good in my legs? Can I feel that stretch? Can I feel that engagement? And go from there. Because sometimes we just want to be perfect with everything. And this goes to your life as well. Let go of that perfectionism. Even for me, I love to have everything perfect. I love to prepare everything perfectly. I love my poses as well, sometimes to look perfect. But it's really not about that. Let go of that perfectionist mind. And instead of that, take little steps every day that help you develop your body on a little bit deeper level, that help you go a little bit further in the yoga pose. Remember not to force yourself. So there's nothing like being good at yoga. It's more about being good with listening to your body, being good with breathing deeply and being aware of your breath. And as you focus more on these aspects, the poses, the physical posture will become easier and easier. Number 4, stillness can be actually more challenging than movement. Very often in more fast-paced yoga flows like vinyasa flow or hot yoga, power yoga, we really focus on lots of movement, moving from one posture to another. And sometimes it is challenging, but for a lot of people, actually staying still is so much more challenging. So when we go to Shavasana, when you finally go to lie down, this is a part of most of the yoga practices, that space of meditation, that space of true rest for the body, so you can sink in all the benefits of the practice. For a lot of people, this is a very hard part, and many students just leave the room because they think the yoga practice is finished after we finish the physical part. But Shavasana is actually one of the most powerful postures. It allows us to go deeper within, to go deeper to the awareness, to let go of the body, to let go of the mind, let go of the emotions and thoughts, and go deeper into the space of that consciousness. And in that time, whether you are lying down in Shavasana or when you are trying to meditate, the mind starts going crazy. The mind starts chatting, thinking about, what did I do today? What am I going to do later? Bring yourself back to here and now through your breath. So many people also say that I can't meditate because my mind is crazy. Well, this is exactly the reason why you should meditate or try meditating, because it will calm your mind naturally. Nowadays, in our lives, we are all so busy. There's always so many things to do. We keep moving from one place to another, from one task to another. And very often there is not much space for stillness, for quiet. This is very, very important to have that space where you just are, where you just are with your breath, where you're just listening, where you are just observing. And at first it might be super difficult and uncomfortable because it's normal that the mind is noisy. It's normal that the mind is loud if you don't have much time to quiet it down. But the more and more often you do this practice, the more and more often you come back to this practice, you will notice and you will realize that it's so much easier for your mind to relax. It's so much easier for your mind to quiet down. And this will also give you so much power in your daily life. Whenever you start to worry, whenever your mind starts overthinking about some things, about some problems, you can remember, you can use the practice of meditation, you can use the practice of breath to ground yourself down, to recenter, to observe without judgment. You can ask yourself now, where do I avoid stillness? Is stillness and silence comfortable for me, or am I trying to run away from it? Number 5, and this is a very important one, really close to my heart, is that progress looks different for everyone. This is so crucial not to compare yourself to everyone else, especially when you are just starting your yoga practice and maybe you start going to studios. You look around in the class, oh, this person can go deeper into stretch. This person can touch their toes to the ground. This person can do this and that, and I can't do it. This is the mind talking again. Through the practice of yoga, we try to connect more to the soul. We aim to quiet the mind and to connect deeper with the soul, with that space within us that doesn't think, doesn't feel, doesn't judge, doesn't move, just is. And as we are comparing yourself to other people, we are actually losing that essence of yoga. You know, traditionally, yoga was taught from the teacher to a student. There wasn't a big class or group of students. There was just teacher and a student. Student is learning from his guide. That's why I also love my one-to-one sessions, because there is a different connection, there is a different atmosphere, there's more space, there's more safety. But this is something to remember, that progress will look different for you than from another person, even if you start in the same time. It really depends a lot on your body type, it depends on your bones, it depends on your muscles. There are so many different factors that influence how we move through yoga and how we progress with our postures, with our breath, with meditation. And it takes time. Have patience. It really takes time. For me, it took me about a few years to finally sit with my knees more open, because my hips were very stiff and very tense. So for some people, it will take only a few weeks of going deeper into a stretch. For some people, it can take even years. But have patience and remember that progress is not all about the physical, because the physical, it will take a while for you sometimes to see the results. But as you practice more and more, you will start notice, even after the first or second practice, that something is changing. Something is changing in your body, something is changing in your mind. You feel more energy, you feel more calm. And these are the things, these are those little progress parts that you can focus on. Always remember that this is your practice, this is your journey. So honor it, celebrate yourself instead of looking around and comparing yourself to everyone else. Number 6, yoga is not a workout, it's a work in. So this is the practice where we should focus more on the inside, just how I mentioned before, focusing on these inner sensations, how you feel like That's why adding the somatic movements, for example, to your practice is great. To connect more to these bodily sensations. And the more yoga becomes popular in the West, of course it depends on a place, on a teacher, on a studio, but very often it becomes this workout, this exercise that is supposed to look a certain way. It's all about, looking beautiful and presenting in all these nice, difficult postures, standing upside down or doing handstands, whatever it is. It becomes too much like Pilates, like whatever other workout. But it's so important to keep that tradition, to keep those traditions from the East, and remember that the physical practice is just a little part of it. There are 8 limbs of yoga. There are so many different steps to enlightenment. This is why we practice yoga, because we want to connect deeper with God, with the soul, with that space within that is so much more than the body. So the physical asana practice is just one of the parts of yoga. There is also withdrawal of senses. There is also no harm, so not harming yourself, not harming others. There's the meditation part. That's why actually yoga was practiced, the physical asana, to sit more comfortably in meditation, to feel more comfortable in the lotus pose or whichever pose for meditation we choose. So the body is not getting uncomfortable, the hips, the legs, so we can sit longer to go to that space where there's pure awareness. So this also, when it comes to life, very often we focus on some specific outcome, how something is supposed to turn out. We look a lot at numbers, we look a lot at things that are defining our success. And there's so much success and growth that also is within that a lot of people don't see. Sometimes we also don't see it if we don't take a little step back and slow down and reflect. It's really important to see the growth that is happening within, the expansion that is happening within. And then the practice becomes so much more special, so much more beautiful. Number 7 is that it's normal to feel emotional during your practice, especially during practices like yin yoga. When we stay in the posture for a little bit longer, we go into the fascia, the connective tissues, we go deeper into those muscles, and very often we feel some emotional release. For example, when it comes to the shoulders or the hips are connected to our adrenal glands, where there is a lot of trauma being processed, where there is stress that is accumulated, and if we don't release it, it stays there. So the adrenal glands are connected to the hip flexor on the physical level. So then when we release the hips, when we release that tension through hip opening postures, sometimes we may feel a little bit maybe sadness, maybe it's like a relief. Just welcome these emotions, observe them, feel them, but remember, don't stay too attached to them. Don't let your mind during the practice to tell you how you're supposed to feel or what you're supposed to do. Let the mind just be there, just observe, because it's normal that the thoughts will keep coming. Sometimes louder, sometimes they will be more quiet. It's normal that the emotions will also be showing up, depends on what you're going through in the day. So have that space to welcome those emotions with love, without judgment, and then just let them go. There's no need to hold on to them. And the same goes as well in your practice off the mat. Where can you leave a little bit more space for your emotions to feel, to notice, instead of numbing yourself, instead of keep distracting yourself, maybe with social media, TV, or whatever it is? Where can you create that space to welcome your emotions as they are, and then know how to work through them, know how to release them, and through that create more freedom from within, create more of a healthy environment. And last but not least, number 8, very important one, is that your yoga practice will look different every day. The way how deeply you can go into one posture, how deeply you can twist, how much you can open, how long can you stay in some core strengthening or balancing pose. It all depends on how you feel today. Depends on how your body feels, how well rested it was or not. If you have any pain in your body, it will also depend on your mood, how you're feeling from the inside, how are your emotions today. So all of this, all your inner state, it also creates your practice. So sometimes maybe you won't be able to go as deep as you would like, and don't force yourself. It's okay, just observe, listen to your body. Also choose a practice that is suitable for you for each day. For example, for girls, for us women who are going through a cycle every month, it's important to choose the practice according to that. So maybe when you are just the week before your period, when you're feeling a little bit more tired, more heaviness, choosing a slower practice and yin yoga practice. When you feel like you want to rest more, choosing a yin practice. Then after your period is over, we normally feel more energized, more ready, more strong. So you can choose vinyasa practice and exercises that are adjusted to that as well. Maybe when your muscles are tired today, you can also choose a slower practice with deeper stretches. Or when you feel like you've got a lot of anger and frustration, maybe some practice with somatic movement or more flow that will help you release those emotions, release those stuck emotions or feelings, and help the energy to flow through you freely. Because very often we have these blockages in the body that are accumulating in the form of stress, in the form of tension, even pain or injury. And it's important to look at that and as well adjust the practice for your current state. And it's also okay to rest. Remember that. You don't have to do the physical asana practice every day, but as long as you keep the yogic philosophy, in your life, the way you think with kindness, the way you talk to yourself and to others, with love, with understanding. These are the things that really matter. The way you breathe, the way you eat, the way you move. So all of these things create your life, your thoughts, your energy, your feelings, your words. So use all of these different parts to help you create a life that you really want, to help you live with that excitement, with joy, with love for life. And that's it for today. I hope some of these points really made sense to you and helped you or maybe inspired you wherever you are in your yoga practice and your yoga journey. And let me know which one of those really resonated with you. Always appreciate your comments, appreciate your feedback. Let me know if you would like more videos like this. And I'm wishing you all the best. Enjoy your yoga journey, enjoy your life. Take every day as a gift, every day and every breath as a gift full of love. Thank you so much. Namaste.